Test.
Hello, everyone. We want to take this opportunity to say thank you. As you grow at the Golden Boot, so do our needs, but we cannot do it without you. We ask that you continue to like our posts, share our content, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. You may also visit thegoldenboot.com for the latest merch. If you would like to make a financial donation, you can do so through Cash App at #GoldenBoot or through PayPal at paypal.me/goldenboot. We look forward to bringing you more laughs, knowledge, and entertainment. And again, thank you for your endless support. Sincerely and respectfully, the Golden Boot team.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Boot. It's your boy Pooh Bear. In this thing by myself tonight, Mr. Petty Murphy, taking care of some family business. But I want to chime in, drop in, and talk a little bit with y'all tonight, man. Drop a few things. First off, shout out to everybody in the chat. What's good, Julian? Julian was he was the first overall, but my man Dave came in first on Facebook. What's good? Preston, what's good, man? You need to change your name. It's now Peyton Daddy. When you have kids, you're no longer by your name. You are your child's daddy. But what's good, everybody? Kenny Mack in this thing. What's good, Kenny Mack? But like I said, man, I want to jump in and talk real quick. This might be a real quick show because we got to talk some baseball. There was a lot of panic in the fan base, in the LSU fan base, Friday after a collapse by the baseball team. I'm not sure how everybody feels right now, but I just want to bring things back and put it in perspective. But first, before we get started, let me jump in here and do this. Shout out to our sponsors over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your baseball information, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds, news, and info for everything March Madness and NBA this year, from the Final Four to the NBA playoffs. BetOnline is your sports information headquarters this season. If you love sports information, scores, news, and podcasts. You'll find everything at Bet Online. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. So head on over to the website, that is betonline.ag, or use your mobile device to get in on action. Be sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that is BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. All right, good people. Let's talk about this baseball game. I mean, this baseball series. Um, LSU this weekend. We opened up the series on Thursday. This was actually so far. This was probably the last Thursday we'll see up until we get to conference. Well, I say conference play. I'm sorry, to the tournament when we have, of course, the the games during the week over in Hoover at the Hoover Met. But Thursday night, man, LSU came out and jumped on all over Kentucky. You had two grand slams, a 3-run home run, and then you had a few little scores sprinkled in there. And LSU actually, technically, I guess you say they walked it off with a run mercy rule in the 8th inning to win it 16-6. I think everyone got kind of look comfortable, got a little excited. Felt like, hey, we might win this. This series might be a cakewalk. We know LSU's had some struggles off pitching wise. The bullpen is kind of falling apart a few games, but on Friday, LSU ended up getting a 6-2 lead before a few errors in the infield, and then all of a sudden, bam, the Chicken Little came out. The sky was falling, and it was all hell broke loose, I guess, for lack of better terms. Kentucky ended up winning 13-10 on Friday. LSU came out yesterday and in a hard fought battle ended up winning 7-6. The game winning run ended up being a hit by pitch RBI after loading the bases. Kentucky loaded the bases for LSU. They were hit by pitch and ended up pretty much walking in the winning run. Then they came out, shut the door in the 9th to get the win. LSU at this point has played all their first 5 matchups have been top 25 matchups. I know at the time the game against Texas A&M wasn't, but now looking back, and it's not fair to say that, but right now, saying that was a top 25 matchup. But let's look at what's going forward. Going forward, you have Ole Miss, and not even looking at the midweek games, because to be quite honest with you, looking at some of these midweek games, they might actually be a little bit harder than some of the games you will face in your conference play remaining. You've got Ole Miss, who is 20-16, 3-12 in the conference. Next, you have Bama, that is 26-11, 6-9 in the conference. You've got Auburn, that is 20-15-1, 5-10 in the conference. 22 Mississippi State is after that with 22-15, 5-10 in the conference. And then you finish out with Georgia, that is 19-17, 4-11 in the conference. So on average, the teams you'll be facing are 21-15 overall and 5-10 in the conference. That's on average. Ladies and gentlemen, the road gets a little bit easier from here. I'm not saying every series is going to be a cakewalk. I'm not even saying that you should blow out all these teams. But what I am saying is that your Friday night games are probably going to be the toughest, where you're going to face your toughest pitching, which is, normal anyway. But after that, it should get a little bit easier, because most of these teams, if I'm looking back this past weekend, Ole Miss, for instance, if I'm not mistaken, they won game 1 and then lost the last 2 games. Alabama lost game 1 to Auburn, but then won those next 2 games. And then Georgia won game 1 against, who were they playing? Florida. They won game 1 against Florida and then lost their last 2 games. So if we can get through Friday nights, should be a little bit easier on Saturdays and Sundays for us. Also, another thing, you're back to playing a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday game. That means your pitching rotation can be a little bit normal. You're not stretched as thin as you were. One thing that Jay Johnson mentioned was because of the arms that they use against Tulane, they ended up having to um, kind of plan a little bit more strategic on Friday night. On Saturday, they had more arms available. Um, and as my good man Ant says, uh, he said, "Hold it down. I'm gonna do my best, man. It's hard. It's hard without you, man. I'm going ahead and say it." But he said it's gonna be hard for teams to win on Friday versus King. Completely agree. But that's going to be the toughest pitching that you're going to face. Um, Preston comes in. Preston chimes in. He said the spoiled kids live in a world where LSU is undefeated against Bama. LSU has a basketball natty and baseball is number one, and Jim went to the natty and he thinks it's normal. Yeah, he's talking about his son. Yeah, but actually the fun thing about that, Preston, most of your fans here, LSU fans, are the same way. They live in a world where we have beaten Bama. We're undefeated in Bama in the last few matchups, football wise, and by undefeated in the last few matchups, just meaning the last one we played. You have a number one baseball team that you think you should sweep everybody. It doesn't matter what they're ranked, doesn't matter where you're playing. You just think you should sweep everyone. Pitching is up and down, but you think that everything you throw is a strike, and if it's not a strike, that pitcher is trash. And you need to sit him on the bench. It's a lot of panic that I've seen these past few weeks, and like I said, I just wanted to put things in perspective. We have played, and I don't know if this has ever happened. I'm not a historian. I have not looked it up, but LSU has literally played some of the best competition in the SEC so far. The only team we hadn't played and won't play is Florida. Vanderbilt is still up there. We haven't played. We won't play Vanderbilt, but I think Vanderbilt is fool's gold. If you look at who Vanderbilt has played, actually, let's look at that. Let me pull up Vanderbilt's conference schedule thus far and look at that, because who they've played in the conference does not really sell me on how good they are. They've played Ole Miss and swept them. Played Mississippi State, swept them. Played Georgia, swept them. Played Missouri and lost one. And the best competition they've had thus far was South Carolina. And they got South Carolina in Nashville at home. So I think that is by far the best competition they've played thus far, but I'm not sold. Realistically, I would have wished we could have played that third game against South Carolina, won that series, and I think that probably would have put a lot of more ease on people's conscience. But yeah, that's who Vandy has played thus far. Even their out of conference going back, when they played in that opening weekend in the I want to say it was in Arlington. They lost to TCU, they beat Oklahoma State, and they beat Texas. Then from there, they lost to Central Arkansas. They took 2 out of 3 from UCLA, which was, again, that was impressive. But then from there, they haven't really played much competition. So I think, again, fool's gold. Tim Corbin is an amazing coach, but they haven't done anything thus far. So that's my gist on it. I know a lot of you guys are probably see things maybe a little bit different, but yeah, that's what I got. My man Julian says the goal is now to end the conference in the top 4 so that you can get the bye into either Wednesday or Thursday, if I remember correctly. That is correct. I think that is correct. Yeah, you get that bye so you don't have to worry about having to use as many arms. But yeah, get in the top 4. Let me see where LSU stands now. If I'm not mistaken, because when I looked earlier, LSU was still in the top. I think they were top 2 in the West. Yeah, so LSU at 9-5 is number 2 in the West. Um, but because of it'll be a combined standing, you've got Vanderbilt 13-2, Florida at 11-4, South Carolina at 10-4, Kentucky at 10-5, and then you've got Arkansas at 11-4 and LSU at 9-5. So yeah, LSU needs to finish out strong. They need to get a few sweeps in these next few series. Um, Winning 2 out of 3 on the back half in each series is not going to cut it. They've got to sweep some of these teams, and being that they will play against let's see here, they've got Alabama. We've got the bottom half of the SEC West and the bottom team in the SEC East left. You've got Alabama, Mississippi State, Auburn, Ole Miss, and Georgia. You've got to sweep those. You've got to sweep those. Um, and let's see. Brandon chimes in. What's up, Brandon? Glad you joined us tonight. He tells a true story. The East will start to eat itself, and that is true. So a lot of those teams who are ranked up there are going to help you out. It's going to cannibalize itself. You've got to step up, and you've got to win. At least, I honestly think if in the next 4 of these next 5 series, you've got to win at least. Let's see, 15. You got to win at least 13 games. Now you're safe going into uh, the the tournament. I think you're going to be okay. I think regional play, you're in a good hands. You're in good standings there, but you do want to solidify that. Taking 2 out of 3 is not going to cut it if you just go 10-5 the next 5 series. It's not going to be. I don't know. I think you've got to do some things there. Let's see here. What we got in the chat? Trey, what's good, Trey? Trey says, number 1 in the country will be number 6 in the SEC tournament currently. Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting. Um, so yeah. My man Dave said catch 22. Gotta save the arms and save pitches save pitchers when I'm guessing save pitchers whenever possible. But they also need the reps to improve on their skills. That is very true. I think not Thursday, midweek games are going to be important. The biggest thing here is you're not going from a Tuesday to Thursday anymore this season up until the tournament. You're going to be in a Tuesday and then Friday type situations. I don't think we have any Wednesday games here. I have to go back and double check, but I think that's where that stands. But yeah, man, that's where we sit with LSU baseball. You guys let me know what you think. Like I said, I think we're in good hands. Think we're good. Let's get 13, 12 out of the next 15. I think we're in good standings. Don't lose any series. That is also another key. So, but yeah, let's move on to some basketball as well. Actually, before we do that, I want to shout out to our Lady Tigers, the Gymnastics Tigers. They had a very, very kind of up and down season, but they made it all the way to the finals, to the final 4 in gymnastics. They actually ended up in 4th place. Uh, Oklahoma ended up winning it all again. I think Florida was 2nd, and I think UCLA was 3rd, or I could have UCLA and Florida flip flop. But I want to say congratulations to those ladies. I think this is a great foundation to build on for next year. We have a lot of great talent coming back. Young lady, Harley Bryant should be back to do her thing. Transfer portal. I know it's in every sport. I don't think we lose anyone. I really am looking forward to seeing the talent come back next year, competing. Lady Tigers are going to lead the way, I think, in a lot of things. Even our lady softball Tigers, they're doing well. I know, like I said last week, we don't talk about them a lot, but we do keep up with how well they have done. They are. Let me look and see. I can pull it up. I want to say did they lose the series this weekend? as I'm bragging on them. They may have lost the series to Auburn this weekend. Let's see. Yeah, they did lose the series, but it was a close one. You got 3-5 on Friday. Auburn won. LSU won 3-2, and then they lost 1-0 today. They played that one on the Plains in Auburn. But the Lady Tigers overall are sitting pretty well in a good position as well. And I think they're going to make a push. Um, they are 7-8 in the conference, 34-10 overall. So they are doing well. They are going to next take on Mississippi State at home. If you get a chance to come out and support, man, go out and support the Lady Tigers. That, like I said, they are doing everything they can to hold it down, man. So shout out to them. All right, let's move on to some basketball real quick, man. I want to talk NBA. The first round of the playoffs is still ongoing. You've got Phoenix and the Clippers playing right now. And then you've got Denver playing tonight. Denver is playing the AFC. Who's the AFC? Denver and the Timberwolves are playing tonight. But so far, man, we've seen some, I guess you could say, upsets. Some games that a lot of people didn't necessarily see. The Bucks, the Heat topped the Bucks 130-117. Giannis went down with the injury. We don't know how long he's out. I hate to see it. I did say that I thought that the Bucks would not make the the finals for the conference finals. I was not predicting an injury or anything like that. I didn't care if Giannis was playing or not. I just didn't think they were going to be up there. Now, if he's out for extended period of time, they may not make it out of the first round, which is dangerous. Jimmy Butler in the playoffs heats up, has heated, no, for, I guess you could say, pun intended. Jimmy Butler is heating up, and Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's out of the series with a broken wrist. That's a big blow for them. Thanks to my man Julia for that update. But Bam Adebayo is going to be key. Him and Jimmy Butler definitely going to be key. The Lakers take game one today. 128-112. Whew. Pelican fans, I know a lot of y'all don't like the Lakers because of Anthony Davis, but I think as a league, we can all unite and say we hate Memphis just because of how they've acted. So, with that being said, man, I do see. I think this one goes. I think 7. I think I said 7 the other day. But if games are like this, if Memphis can't win the next one in Memphis, this series might be short. This might end in 5. I don't think the Lakers sweep, but this one may end in 5. And LeBron is, let me look and see what he did today. I know when I was watching, he didn't have to do a lot. He scored, he was 21 and 21, 11, and 5. He played 34 minutes. So LeBron not having to play 40 plus minutes in the playoff stretch, it's gonna be big. Dave, man, listen, Dave. He put up. Dave said the Kings beat the Golden State yesterday. We're gonna get on that. I'm gonna touch on that too. So, somebody put in here halftime. I think it's 59-50. Okay, it's 59-54. The Clippers on top of the Suns. I do. I hope the Suns can pull it. Nick in here say, "Yep." I hope the Suns can pull this one off. This might be the only time I'll be pulling for them during the playoffs. But 76ers, man. 76ers jumped all over the Nets, man. They might just be too much. The 76ers might be a little too much for the Nets. Mikal Bridges is pretty much all the firepower that they're putting in the game. We all know that Cam Thomas can score, but can't score on the bench. The Celtics jumped all over the Hawks. Let me go back so I can pull that score up. 112-99. The Knicks surprised the Cavs yesterday. They won 101-97. Ironically, and I didn't think about it, the Knicks have a lot of playoff experience, a lot of playoff exits, but that still counts as experience when you go that versus what the Cavs have, who I think pretty much only have Donovan Mitchell, who has significant playoff experience. I'm not, forgive me for not knowing a lot about their roster, but yeah, Donovan Mitchell is the only really realistically the only person on that team who has extensive playoff experience. So the Knicks may have the upper hand more than than assumed here. But we shall see. We shall see how that one plays out. Now let's talk about this Golden State loss to Sacramento. I said I've been saying all season, and it's mostly it was mostly the pick at Chris. The defending chumps, excuse me, the defending chumps. Oh, God dang, I did it again. The defending champs have struggled all season on the road. If I'm not mistaken, on the road they were looking here 11-30, 11-30 on the road this season. In the playoffs, you have to win on the road if you want to win, especially when you don't have home court advantage. With that being said, they went in game one to Sacramento and they had a lead. Sacramento came back behind De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, who have teamed up again from their Kentucky days. And they got this thing rolling. They made a comeback, they made a push and outscored in the second half. I'm looking here. That's 71-62. They outscored them. The Kings outscored them in the second half and basically were a little bit more physical in getting that win. Steph missed a game time, what would have been a game time 3 at the end of the game, which and no, it doesn't say a lot about. I'm not here saying, oh, Steph is falling off and nothing like that. No. But what I am saying, the Kings aren't the Kings that I'm sorry. The Warriors aren't the Warriors that we're used to, that we've seen the last few years. And this Kings team is led by Mike Brown. Mike Brown, who who was the coach for the Cavaliers when LeBron took them to the finals against San Antonio, I think way back decades ago. He also is a former coach on that same Warriors team. And when Steve Kerr had back problems and was out, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Brown coached them in a series and led them to a series win. Or I think it's maybe a series or two. Mike Brown is a very good coach who has not gotten the credit he's due. He's definitely one of the most underrated coaches in the league. If I'm not mistaken, he comes from that Greg Popovich tree and deserves a lot more respect. Early on, not years, because we hadn't been on years, months ago, we had a conversation here talking about, hey, who is the best coach that LeBron has played under? And it was, I think we ended up saying it was my guy in Miami. I can't think of it, Eric Spoelstra. But when you look at it, look at the coaching, the actual, not necessarily the championships, but the coaching job that was done with the talent that he has had around him. Mike Brown might actually be the best coach that LeBron has played for. The problem is Mike Brown has been in LeBron's shadow. He's been in Steve Kerr's shadow. And now that he's on his own and he's got De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk again, and Sabonis as well. So I'm not saying I don't want it to seem like I'm saying De'Aaron Fox is not good, Malik Monk is not good. But when you've taken three different teams, saying you've coached three different teams and have been able to lead them, and the series is not over, but when you've been able to lead them to some very impressive wins and some very impressive records, it might be time to start giving Mike Brown his flowers. Um, let's also not forget Sacramento is the 3 seed here. They have the home court advantage, not the Warriors. So that's something, man. I just want to throw out there. Now let's talk a little football. Let's jump here. Somebody put it up here. Let me go find it. About Georgia has a D lineman in the portal. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Brandon threw up here early. He said, any word on the Georgia D line bear that entered the portal? I do not have any information on it as of now. But that would be a huge pickup. If LSU could pull that out. I don't even know if LSU's I'm pretty sure they have. At this point, LSU would like to have a D-line coach. But again, there's time to get there. But I did see that he entered the portal. I'm not sure if he's exactly on LSU's radar. As fans, he's definitely on our radar. We're definitely looking forward, looking to at least contact him. But I have not heard much about it. Now, spring game for LSU is next Saturday. We did have a few spring games. Georgia actually just had their spring game this past weekend. Also, Ole Miss. And Preston brought this up. I know you saw Walker Howard at number 7. Lots of LSU folks, lots of these LSU transfers like to wear number 7 when they leave. Well, yeah. And I did. So Walker actually had a pretty good spring game, from what I did see. He threw, I think, 2 touchdowns, maybe more. Some very impressive throws. So saying kudos to Walker for doing that. What he did in the spring game. I don't know how much it's going to translate to the season. I think it's still Jackson Dart's team. Maybe Walker takes over next year. I don't know, but we shall see. But as far as saying transferring and getting number 7, I guess if you can't earn it here, why not go somewhere else and take it? But also staying in football, USFL. The USFL has returned with some big games. Birmingham, the defending champions, came out yesterday, ended up getting a 27-10 win over the New Jersey Generals. You've got whoa, what is this? Trying to pull up the USFL. Pull up that thing and it popped up with something else. I was all in China with it, y'all. But all right, you had the Philadelphia Stars took on the Memphis Showboats. The Philadelphia Stars took a 27-23 win. You got the Michigan Panthers, led by what's the quarterback's name? I think his name's like Shane Love. I have to look up his name. 29-13 win over the Houston Gamblers. And Love had it. J Love is J Love. What is Joy? It's not. What is this kid's name? But he had a game. He had, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 3 touchdowns. Josh Love, that's what it is. Josh Love had 3 touchdowns. He was 18 or 20 for 215 yards. And bam, what a game. Let me ask y'all this. Oh, Julian said about going back about Ole Miss. Don't forget they have Spencer Sanders. So I know. I just don't think he's going to touch the field. But anyway, but you're absolutely right. They do have him. Either way, Walker's still back at 3rd string. He transferred because he was 3rd string to be 3rd string. Anyway, XFL. Let me ask y'all a question in the chat. Y'all let me know what y'all think. You've got the USFL, you've got the XFL, and then you've got basketball playoffs, baseball. This is not a great time in sports. Do y'all like having these spring football leagues? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Me personally, I love the spring football. I may not watch it as much, but I love the fact that we have spring football. And then you've got names that you haven't seen in a while. You got some names that you thought could have made it to the NFL that didn't, but now they've got a chance to make it in two different leagues, and still make it back to the NFL. Speaking of one of my favorites, what I'm saying, LSU guy, Derek Dillon, man, friend of the show. Derek Dillon leads the country in kick return yards. He had 5 kick returns for 130 yards yesterday. Shout out to Derek, man. He's definitely going to end up on somebody's roster soon. Definitely, he's got to. I think he got picked up by Cleveland last year, and it didn't ended up working out, but he did get picked up by Cleveland. So my man Dave says, I love it. Gives me more option because basketball games are going to be lesser as the days go by, but there will be some football still around to carry us. Completely agree. You got spring football wrapping up, which that's not, scrimmages and stuff is fun, exciting, but man, but yeah, this football it's enough to carry you over until we get to College World Series, and then over until we get to, we have to suffer through baseball. I know some of y'all not gonna like that, but now until we, watch baseball until we get to actual more football. So I love it. I love it. I would like to see. I think that would be interesting. Logistically, I know it's kind of hard to do. I would love to see like a XFL champion versus USFL champion, something like that, just to see, get some of these teams a little bit more action. I don't know. It's some creative, just some fantasy stuff you make up in your mind. Oh, one thing I do like, we talked about it last year with the USFL, some of the technology and stuff they have. It was on display today. So there was a pass, it was like third down. And there was a pass that was really close to the line of scrimmage. They didn't have to pull the chains out and measure anything. There's actually a chip in the ball and a sensor, and they were able to look at the computers and see, hey, it crossed the line, the ball crossed the line, great catch, boom, move on, keep going. Sped the game up, kept the game going. It was amazing to see. I know we talked about seeing if the ball crossed the line of scrimmage, crossed the goal line, stuff like that. That is stuff like that I would love to see translate into the NFL. So yeah, they said, "Oh man, like the old USFL versus NFL, like a football World Series without the NFL." Yeah, yeah, something like that, man. That would be nuts, man. I think it'll draw a lot of attention. The only problem with that is because the seasons are so off as far as the XFL is wrapping up and the USFL is just kicking off. So uh, of course they will have to work those things out and figure it out. But even if they could play during the same times, that would be. But who knows? Who knows? Um, but fellas, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, man, like I put, this is gonna be a quick one tonight. I do have one more thing. I got an altar call. So I'm gonna do that. Then we can get up out of here. If y'all got any questions, comments, what I'm saying, let us know. Appreciate y'all. But let's go ahead and jump into this altar call. Hey, let me go ahead and bring this up, man. Let me read this tweet, man, because it was something when I read it, it was heartbreaking, but it goes to show the kind of world we're living in, man. So give me bear with me for 1 second while I bring this tweet up so I read my altar call for y'all. All right. So this week altar call goes to those fans out there that thought it was okay to send death threats to a 10-year-old. I know y'all like, what? Yeah, you heard me correctly. Those fans who decided to send death threats to a 10-year-old. Here it is. I'm gonna read. So just so y'all know I'm not making this up, let me share this screen with you. All right, here you go. So this is from Chris Haynes. As you can see, senior insider for TNT and Bleacher. It looks legitimate. I could be wrong, but it looks legitimate. But let me go ahead and read this tweet. He said DeMar DeRozan's daughter, DR, was escorted out of Scotia Bank Arena on Wednesday by Bull security and led to team bus with her father after NBA notified team of severe online threats directed at the 9-year-old. I said 10-year-old. Directed at the 9-year-old. Sources tell the NBA on TNT and the Bleacher Report. So what did she do? She got pressed and people kind of blew it up because she was screaming when the Toronto players were shooting free throws. It was cute. It was, the thing, where people go in, you shoot a free throw, the crowd goes crazy, but it was cute because she was doing it for her dad's team. She was all in, she was bought in. But the fact that people are online threatening the life of a 9-year-old over a basketball game, it's absurd to me. We are already living in a country where gun violence is so prevalent. Um, people blame people left and right for politics. Um, uh, you want to protect your Second Amendment right. You want to, you don't want gun legislation, and we don't even bat an eye anymore when kids are killed in schools, in school shootings. Um, school shootings and things like that have always, I'm not gonna say always, have been prevalent for a long time. But the biggest thing was, I remember in 1998, 99, 98, 99, when Columbine happened. Um, that changed how policing is done tremendously. No longer is it wait for the SWAT team to get there. Police are now told to go ahead and enter the building to try to save as many lives as possible. Um, I remember in 2000, I want to say 14, Sandy Hook happened. And I knew just then this is going to change the world. I said they're going to do something to change gun legislation to protect our kids. I never forget seeing it, and I immediately called my son to check on him. I just want to hear his voice. And then you had Parkland. We've had Uvalde. Um, we've had Stoneman. Well, I think that was Parkland, Stoneman Douglas. We've had so many, and nothing has happened. Now, I'm not saying, hey, we need to get political, we need to activate or anything like that. But what I am saying is this country has become a place, or this world has come a place where threatening children, the thought of children being shot and killed and seeing those bodies, or the thought of those bodies riddled with bullets, is desensitized. When we hear there's a mass shooting now, the first thing that comes to mind, or first thing, how many people died? And if it's a single digit, we say, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. What? That is your response? But hey, again, um, people have said often that, saying the thought of bringing up the race card and stuff like that. Let me bring up the race card in this. The human race card. We have stopped believing in each other. We've lost humanity. Um, we have to find a moral compass and get back there. We have stopped loving each other, respecting each other, and have started loving ourselves more than it is to love someone else, be compassionate for someone else. Um, I don't care what religion you are. I think in just about every religion, one of the first things is to love thy neighbor, love thy brother, love each other the way you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Want to be loved. Treat each other the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule in life. So why is it okay that we're threatening kids over a basketball game? I don't know, man. I might get a little too deep for that one, but that's it, man. That's what I got for you. I don't get it. It's stupid. We can hide behind keyboards and say a lot of things. That's what I'll put it there. We can hide behind keyboards and do a lot of things, say a lot of things. But anyway, man, let's get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, who watched with us tonight. We'll be back on tomorrow with HBCU Hour, doing a few more recaps of some spring basketball games. I look forward to talking with y'all. We'll be back Wednesday with another episode of the Golden Boot. This show was brought to you by betonline.ag. Appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all soon.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!